Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. We got this. It's a beautiful day. It's going to be a beautiful podcast. Have a wonderful rest of the day. All right. Welcome back to my second episode of Sincerely Yours by Tamari Mays. I am your host, of course, Tamari Mays. And I'm here to enlighten you guys on some mental health and spiritual journey into betterness, to better yourself. You know what I'm saying? And I brought a friend along with me from set that I met on set who is a former PFC ranked Army veteran who fought in Kosovo. Where's that at?
That's in Europe.
In Europe. Fought in Europe. And he was retired law enforcement. We met on set at the Residence. My good friend Dexter, who I like to have conversations with him periodically, I told him to come on my podcast. Dexter, go ahead and tell everybody, hey, how you doing today?
Hey, how you doing today, people? Good to be with you. Hope this will be an enlightening conversation for everyone. I know it will be for me.
Because it had to be a darn. Can you repeat yourself? Sorry. And then there's somebody blasting music right there. Right when we record, we've been sitting here for an hour and nothing.
Where do I start? Where do you want to start?
Just introduce yourself again.
Hey, people. My name is Dexter Smith. Glad to be here. Hope this interview or conversation will be enlightening. I know it'll be enlightening for me because I don't mind learning. And I know I will learn something today.
All right, so the topic of discussion today, reason why I chose Dexter is because we have very enlightening conversations on set. We talk about a lot of stuff, and I asked him to be on my podcast because something particular that I wanted to address within the community, especially the Black community, about male toxicity that is very dominant in this world. You don't see a lot of positivity anywhere as far as the world, and especially in current days with coronavirus and vaccines and all this forceful stuff that's going on right now. There's not a lot of positivity and happiness. So if I could do my job and spread positivity and awareness on stuff that needs to be addressed within our community, I will do it. I don't know if y'all can hear me because there's a lot of noise going on right now. Let me check, y'all.
All of a sudden.
All of a sudden, it's like a hurricane of noise. Welcome back to my second episode of I wish I had a mic. Tamari Mays. I am your host, of course. I feel like that's good. Tamari Mays. I had to record it. Okay. No, not yet. I'm going to add another recording to that. I'm going to edit that and post edit, so don't worry about that. Okay. Back to what I was saying. Oh, look, it got so quiet. That's beautiful. I want to address the negativity and toxicity within our community. So I had a guy who's a guy, so which means he specializes in this course, and he has many years and many observations to which will benefit the community and relationships in general, which is Dexter. And then we're going to talk about the toxicity which is in the community with relationships as far as male toxicity and what they feel as what he feels is could help us and benefit us in our relationships together to only promote healthier and easier living arrangements, should I say, in this world. So Dexter, there's this song, right? I don't know who's that song by. It's A Man's World. I know who it is, but I can't put a name to it.
James Brown.
James Brown has a song called It's a Man's World. It's a man's world. And do you feel like the world is male dominated? Now, I'm not saying that women don't play a role in it, but it's more so that men are the relationship within the community of blacks or anybody in general, let's just say relationship in general, men kind of are in front and women are behind. You know what I'm saying? So do you feel like this bike needs to leave already so we can finish this interview?
He walked around for like 5 minutes before he started.
He waited till I knew he was watching us. He waited till we pressed record. And it was like, let me hop on this bike and then sit there for another 10 minutes. Do you feel like this world is, just speak up, okay? Do you feel like this world is male dominated?
Well, yeah, the world is definitely male dominated still, for as long as we can remember. But the progress has been made, changes have been made, and especially now, which I believe we're living in the age of Aquarius, where women are rising, and that's what we see. We see presidents and countries around the world and government, women are rising to the top and to the occasion. And it's to a point where, I see it going even further. In this country, you can see it in this country, we have a female vice president.
Hold on. I'm going to ask you that question again because I don't know. I want to make sure the audio is clear. And I know I hate starting over again, but I can. Okay.
How was that?
It was good. Do you feel like the world was male dominated? There's a song by James Brown, right, that says this is a man's world. And I feel like the relationships these days, women are behind the men instead of beside. So do you feel like the world is male dominated?
Definitely, it still is. The world has been dominated by men and males for centuries.
Right.
To the point where, it's normal.
Yeah.
And actually it's abnormal. It was never meant or intended to be that way. But we have changes have been made, and progress, I should say, have been made over the years, and to this day, which I believe we're living in the age of Aquarius now, where this is
Aqua Gang, February 2nd.
Yeah, we're living in the age of Aquarius, where there will be a rise of women and females
Presence,
and presence, right? And we see that today. We look around the world, and especially in government. Women presidents in countries all around the world. This country, our country, now we have a female vice president. That alone, she's black. So this is something, the world should be paying attention to.
Yeah. Because they weren't ready for a female president. The world, I'm saying, are not. I don't think they're ready for, because as much damage as some male presidents have done.
Yeah.
I'll talk about recessions and depressions and the government shutdowns and all that.
Yeah.
Wars on account of men who can't control their emotion. They're worried about women who get monthly cycles being too emotional. Don't you think that's weird?
Yes, it is weird. Monthly cycles I don't think don't play that much of a part.
But you know what I'm saying? They're saying that women are too emotional when the patterns show that men can be just as emotional.
Yes, and it could be a good thing, because it looks at certain things in a different point of view instead of the same view all the time. Therefore, we get the same, results.
I think it's. I don't know what it is, but I think it's more like a negative male mindset where the women aren't supposed to be anywhere but in the kitchen. That's what I'm gonna say. It's male mindset.
Yeah.
Male toxicity. What do you think male toxicity is?
Male toxicity. Let's think on that one. I believe it's definitely lack. Lack, yeah. There are a lot of things that have been needed and necessary, but certain males lack these things that are needed. and therefore, if they don't have it, they're going to look elsewhere to fulfill those hopes.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in the society we live in, what we accept and take as normal.
It's not normal.
No, it isn't normal.
It's not normal.
It's abnormal, but when you can't control anything anymore, you normalize it to control.
I get what you're saying. I'm going to take it a step further.
Okay.
If you can't change anything, if you don't see anything changing or you don't see a way to change things, you have a tendency to accept it.
You have a tendency to
accept it. Right. It's like you can't change the dynamics of a relationship. You know what I'm saying? So it's acceptable. You accept it now. Also, if you change it and you're scared of worse, then you're also going to accept it. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
So it has a lot to do with the male relationship, the male-female relationship.
Oh.
A good male presence in a relationship is missing. Do you feel that way? Because I feel like what was intended was instead of it be male dominated, we work as a team.
Yes.
Where women picks up where men lacks, and the men picks up where the woman lacks. That doesn't mean that the man has to work all the time, and it doesn't mean that the woman has to cook all the time. You know what I'm saying? If one day the woman doesn't feel like cooking, if the man would step in, I'm not saying that's the definite answer or that's a specific reason. I'm just saying like wherever I lack, my significant other would pick up. So I feel like a good male presence is missing in the family.
Definitely. This is what we're experiencing now. What we have in the households. Especially in poor people's households. The lack of
lower class.
Oh, lower class. You want to put it like that? Yeah. The lack of male presence. Let alone, I'll take it even further. Rather than a male presence, but the presence of a man. Because all males are not men.
Woo! Say that again. All males
are not men.
At all.
No.
And you got a lot of little boys running around who are lacking.
Yes.
That's what he said.
Yes.
Lacking that good male presence. And so a lot of men think that, well, a lot of boys think that in order to be a man, I must do this.
Right.
I must have multiple women. In order to be a man, I must have such and such.
Yes.
What's your thoughts on that? Like what?
And you're right with that. And it's not about just it's actually the total opposite. It's not about the women you have, the amount of things or whatever. No. It comes from within. It's not on the outside. It's not, you don't judge manhood by, the things or material things you have on the outside. It comes from within.
Within.
And if you don't have that, coming from within, you won't.
The security
that
you're a man.
Right, the security within yourself.
Right.
If the man is secure in himself, others around will feel that security.
If a man was secure in himself, a gay male could come and sit right next to him.
Oh, absolutely.
And there would be no issue.
Absolutely. Right.
No issue.
Right.
I think that is because the lack of good male presence or quote unquote a real man.
Right.
It's so hard to find these days somebody who is not.
It's so hard to find that, I'm even afraid that, even when it's there, you won't even recognize it.
You won't recognize it. They call them punks or B words and stuff like that. Like you're letting that man question your, you hug that man too long. Oh, I love him. You love him? Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? There's such a negative connotation towards that.
Not only is it negative, but it's threatening, and only boys are threatened. Boys are threatened by by things such as whatever, things they don't understand.
Right.
And that's what it is. You don't understand. That's pretty much all of us. You don't understand something, you're going to be threatened by it. And a lot of times we're forced to somehow defend ourselves. When you really don't have to. There's no need to defend. It's just that you don't have the knowledge. You lack that knowledge of what manhood is. And that's the thing. You got to understand what manhood is in order to be it.
To be a man.
To be a man and to even recognize it.
The men today, the men of my generation, I feel like they have it all wrong. They have it all wrong. And it's so hard for me to even, date, because it's like either I'm an object to them or I'm not held to their standards. When obviously you're not held to a standard. You don't have a standard. You don't have that model in your life to be like, you know what I'm saying, I this is how I need to be. So where do you think it went wrong? Do you think the lack of a good male presence, is it due to generations of fatherhood lost, due to systematic oppression, meaning that men were taken from their family and put into jail or given drugs or whatever have you, where they weren't there or they were too busy out chasing money or whatever, or lack of care, or even peer pressure? Because I know a lot of men, even now, like monogamy, if you're in a relationship with one woman, the men around you consider that crazy. You know what I'm saying? They actually almost, I'm not at all speaking from a male's perspective, but I'm just saying for what I see. Let's get that clear. From what I see, they almost promote or advise you to sleep with other women. It's like, why would you?
Yeah, multiple women.
Yeah, why do you just want that woman? This woman has this and that. You know what I'm saying? So, what do you think that is? Is it ignorance or peer pressure?
It's a lot of peer pressure, because it's right there in your face all the time, especially with young males growing up. And also, you're stuck. Answer that again.
What do you think? Where do you think it went wrong? Do you think it's the ignorance due to oppressive fathers because of some systematic oppressions, or lack of care or peer pressure?
I think it's also a lot of lack of peer pressure, because it's always there. And the caring part is there, because we don't know how to care. We don't know what it is to care. And having multiple women, that doesn't constitute anything there. It's just showing and stating that you can't manage one. So you go to others.
Yes.
And that's the that's the test of manhood, not multiple women. It's the management of one woman. And management, I say, not management to dominate.
Yeah.
But to understand.
It's clarified, not to dominate.
No, not management to dominate. Management to understand and how and what it is to deal with a woman. Because as a male, you must know what a woman is for you. She's there for you. Put there for you. Understand? She's your helpmate.
Helpmate. Beautiful, because for some odd reason, somewhere along the lines it got misconstrued that women are objects.
Yeah.
And the more you have,
lack of understanding.
The more you have, the more manly you are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So instead of women being seen as women, we're being seen as objects meant to be used. So I like that you cleared that out, that we're helpmates.
Yeah.
We are still your mate. We're not to be controlled. We're not to be dominated or anything. We're here to help. Where you lack, I'll pick up. And you're saying this mindset is due to all of this, like ignorance, because there's no male presence, no good male presence in the household. Then systematic oppression, where the men is also being taken out of the household as well, where they're being put into jails and stuff like that. And then lack of care, because they don't care. You know, they don't know how to care.
They don't know how, right?
Yeah, they don't know how to care.
They don't know how to care. They don't know to care.
They don't know to care, right?
Yes.
And peer pressure, because as much as I want to say women have a part in this too, where they also have to understand they have to care about themselves and hold themselves to a standard where it's not so easy for the men to think these ways.
Right.
And when that happens, the male perspective will kind of shift back to where it's like women are helpmates, and they don't have to be so peer pressured, is what I'm saying.
Right. And the peer pressure is unnecessary. You know, it's
very.
It's another way to control. That's all. It's a system of control. Usually, you see, like, you know, a lot of peer pressure, you know, like in a gang set, you know, setups.
Yeah.
You know, men need help. That's the first thing you gotta understand. Men need help. We all need help, but men need help. If you look around today, you can obviously see men need help more this time than any time.
Right.
So we have to bring that perspective back. First of all, in order to bring it back, we have to understand what it is.
Yeah.
And practice that.
It's not to be weaker. It's not to lessen. Some men think it's not to lessen your manliness.
No, this will actually strengthen you as a man.
Yes.
This will strengthen you as a man, because all the other stuff is just weakness.
It is.
It's weakness.
You know what I think it is? Men don't know what intimacy is.
No, men do not know what intimacy is. I don't think now they automatically think intimacy is physical.
Sex, yeah.
And physical means sex. You know, intimacy,
pleasure,
and pleasure for beneficial, you know, for their benefit. But intimacy actually comes in two parts. Intimacy is also mental as well as physical. Now, we're only paying attention to the physical part because it brings pleasure, but it's a selfish pleasure.
Yeah, very. It's a quick satisfaction, because
and
3 seconds later,
right, you're ready to move on to the next.
So, at what point do you think they'll realize? Because you'll see it a lot later on in a male's life where they're like, I just lived for myself, and I wish I had, I got all these millions now. I got all this money. Well, and I have these problems with my functions, and I don't have nobody else around me. And, I'm losing my looks and stuff like that. And these women are all temporary. I need somebody here. So you realize that later on in life, where they're like, I wish I could have just been more, into a relationship. Why is that? Why is it later on in life instead of now? Like, what needs to change about that?
I think it's education. Because you have the capacity to learn so much more when you're younger.
Yeah.
But when you're older, you're just tired. And living that type of a lifestyle is not only physically tiring, it's mentally tiring.
It's not stimulating.
Yeah, it was never meant to stimulate. And if it did, it was only temporary. And we don't want what's temporary. We need something that's permanent.
That's what I'm saying. Like, intimacy, it just needs to be. I feel like that's what's missing. Like the education part. Yeah. I feel like men need to be explained to them. This, you don't want sex. You want to be intimate with somebody. And once you get that intimacy, it's a lot easier to turn down the temptation, because you have something that you want now, instead of, you know what I'm saying? If
and it's even more than you want. You have something that you need. And it's more than pleasure. Right.
It's more like, I have this person that I go hold to and I can talk to, and they understand me and they don't judge me, don't yell at me and stuff like that. Why would I want to be out in the streets? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like intimacy needs to be explained to these younger generations, what it is and what it is you want. I feel like it has a lot to do with how men are being raised. You know what I'm saying? The male standard is to not be vulnerable not to be emotional, to be a tough guy. So it's of course it's going to be harder for the intimacy part to kick in because you don't want to be vulnerable. And in order to be vulnerable, or to be intimate with somebody, you have to be vulnerable. That's why it's so much physical satisfaction being, you know what I'm saying? So why do men have this thing against emotional ability? I don't even know this. Emotions and vulnerability.
Because they see most men, I should say males, see this as weakness. That's it.
What is so weak about it?
Because they through ignorance, they can join this with being a female. These are female. Women are emotional. Women show emotion, not men. A man showing emotion is a sign of weakness, or could be weakness, when it's actually the total opposite. It's the total opposite. Yeah.
Emotions. Even with some women have the stigma of being over emotional. Men have the stigma of not being emotional at all.
And and again, as some men or whatever, women use it to their advantage as well.
Yeah.
An advantage, I should say.
I'm not even gonna let you. I'll let you have that. But back to men. The emotional aspect of it. Emotions are universal. It doesn't matter what sex. Animals have emotions.
Right. And again, they're there to help us.
They're there to help us. Yes. And the more you oppress your emotions, the more you project it eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. You suppress it, it's going to come out anyway.
It's going to come out eventually. Yeah.
But it's more than likely it's going to come out now that you suppressed it for so long. It's going to come out in a negative way.
A very negative way.
A way that it was never meant. Never intended for.
So you're saying that is how the male aggression stems, because men can be very aggressive. I hear in a lot of stories these days about men getting turned down, and then now they're shooting and they're fighting the woman now because they're being turned down.
Yeah, because women they're not displaying manhood, and women, as I said, we're living in the age of Aquarius. Women are rising, and women are taking note of this. These males are not acting like men, so therefore, they're going to turn them down.
I feel like,
and they're being turned down.
They are being turned down. I feel like at this point, which is not a bad thing. The lines are getting blurred now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? As far as a relationship. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. Disclaimer, it's not a bad thing. The lines are getting blurred. Women are no longer seeking men for what they need because men are not giving it to them. So now we have women going to males, you have women, whatever have you, and that's not a bad thing. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about the lines getting blurred?
I think it's a good thing, and I believe that it's we're moving towards a place where we belong, where it was intended.
Right.
We're moving towards that place slowly but surely. We're moving in that direction. And again, there are some males who don't understand this. Now they're going to be threatened by it.
Yeah.
Again, there's more threatened. They're going to be more threatened by this, whatever. When they actually, it's a good thing, because again, men need help.
Yeah.
Women are here. There are helpmates in life, and until you understand that, you won't see it that way. You will always see it as a threat.
Yeah.
And it's not. It was never intended to be a threat.
It was never intended to be a threat. We were never intended to be enemies. We were never intended to be objects.
No.
We're human beings. When emotion started becoming a negative thing is when society as a whole took a downfall. When people weren't allowed to express themselves, or when people weren't allowed to talk, when people weren't allowed to work things out, when it was considered a negative thing to be emotional at all, is when it became a downfall. People started suppressing everything, and so now one gender is having to look into the same gender to find these emotional support. And now even more than ever, men are being threatened by it because they don't understand. Like you said, they don't understand, and now they're losing the one thing, whether they realize it or not, they value the most. Because as much as men say they don't need women, you absolutely do. You center your whole life around it. You know what I'm saying? You do all this, you get money, you gotta have the biggest cars, the nicest jewelry, yes, and all of it is to attract the female.
Right. To attract, to impress, to gain, to gain into that male figure. You want to attract, you want to have as many women as you have. You have to be attractive. You have to gain possessions. Put all that stuff out.
Just to have the attention of females.
Yes.
Just
the one thing you said you
don't need. So now it's like you guys are talking. What's that saying that we're both Southern, y'all? So what's that saying that a family member, the Southern family would always say? You're digging your own grave.
Yeah. Oh yes.
You're digging your own grave.
Yes.
That makes so much sense in this scenario because it's like you want us, but you don't want to say you want us because it's unmanly-like to say that you want us. So you're going to pretend like you don't want us. And while you pretending like you don't want us, now we think you don't want us, so we're going to go away. But doing that, you're going to get mad at us because we went away because you really want us. So now you're like, just be straight up about it. You know what I'm saying? Say you need us.
Well, in order to be straight up about it, you have to be mature.
Mature, yeah.
And that's the problem. A lot of these males lack maturity. They're expressing immaturity. And guess what? Women are picking up on this now. And this is the reason why you're being turned down.
So, how do you feel about gender roles? I don't agree with the gender roles.
No, I don't agree with them either, because if you're physically fit to do something or whatever that needs to be done, that will benefit all of us and should be done, do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't believe that, because I have it written down, you guys. These are all the questions because. Anyway, I have it written down that men are conditioned to work a weather life and spend less time with their family. How that ties into gender roles, I haven't quite figured that out. I had an idea, but it slipped my mind. I feel as though. What were you going to say? Because I lost mine.
This is what we've done and accept in society, what society has produced, what the man role is, or the male role is.
Yeah.
You stay out and you work as much as you can, stay away from, even if it takes you away from your family, you're still being a man.
You're a man, you're providing.
Right, and you're providing. But
even if it's killing you.
It's literally killing you, and it's killing your family. Your children don't know you. And whether you know it or not, or whether it makes sense to you or not, but your wife, your ladies, slowly but surely losing respect for you because you're not there.
You're not there.
You need to be there.
I was telling you the story the other day. Remember, I told you about Kevin Hart listening to his podcast.
That's right.
He said that when quarantine happened, guys, this is a true story. He said that when quarantine happened and he had to sit in his house for 6 weeks, he felt like a visitor in his own house. He said he didn't know where things was at. He didn't know how things were ran. He didn't know his children. They were ready. They after a while they were expecting him to be gone and he wasn't. He said he felt like he was. Anytime you go home to your house, to the house that you pay bills for, that you pay everything in that house belongs to you. The house included, the land too. That's that way. I said the same thing. Anytime you go to a house and you're a foreigner in your own home, you are spending too much time in your house. I mean,
not
at y'all. You're spending too much time at work, outside.
Yeah.
And that's what the male gender role is the man is supposed to work. I see it in Southern families because the dynamic has never changed. You know what I'm saying? The dynamic has never changed. It's like police brutality. Now it's being publicized because I'm Southern, you're Southern. Tell me if I'm lying.
No, you're not.
There's a lot of instances
Absolutely
in your
right.
family that you see on TV that's being publicized now that you can go and talk to your family. It's been happening for generations and they normalized it.
Yes. Right.
It's not normal.
No, this is all abnormal.
It's abnormal behavior.
Yes. But because you can't control it, when I say people who can't control it, the powers that be can't control it, the only way they can control it is to normalize it. Say it's okay.
You know what? When there's a stigma, right? When you talk about it, something bad might happen and you might be ass out.
Yeah.
So now I'm not gonna say nothing because I don't want to lose what I had, but
right.
I know this is not okay behavior.
Right.
And so back to the gender roles, it's kind of like you said we're helpmates. I feel like in all aspects we should be helpmates. There's no reason why the trash should be sitting on the side of the door for 2 weeks, smelling and the maggots and fruit flies all there because the woman believes that the man should check the trash out. That's just irrational behavior.
Right.
You'd rather smell trash than to take it out?
Yeah. But also, it's still the demand of a woman wanting her mate to be a man. She needs to see this. She is willing to sit there and deal with maggots, infestation, just to see her man be a man. When it's totally unnecessary. She could easily do it herself.
Right.
But all this is lack of confidence in her man.
Because it's not being shown.
Right. It's not being shown. She's not seeing it. So she's going to have to force it and do it herself. Because if the man, that's one thing. If the male does not do it, and you have a lady, if you don't do it, especially nowadays, she is not going to sit and wait for you to do it. She's going to do it herself. And if that isn't more emasculating than anything or whatever, if you're paying attention, I don't know what is.
That's head on, man.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that gender roles need to be done away with. I really do. Like, there's certain things that women can't do. I'm not gonna say can't. I'm just saying there's certain. I'm not even gonna say. I'm just change the thought. There's gender rules need to be done away with. You know what I'm saying?
I would say gender rules need to be done away with in order for us, male and female, to come together and work together as it was intended to be in the first place.
Boom. That's true.
Yeah. And that'll put a stop to so much, unnecessary stuff that we have to live and deal with, the stress of life.
Yeah. That
we have to deal with.
I can't do that because it's not okay for me to do, or it's not okay for you to do. Right.
It's unnecessary, and it's killing us.
So as I said earlier, the dynamic has changed. It's just being recorded now. Do you think it's always been a problem?
Yes.
Even though I know that you know.
It's always been a problem.
It's always been a problem.
It's always been a problem, but it's been kept in check.
Yeah, it's like
a sort of check or whatever. Women knew that.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Right. Or you know your role. Women are seen and not spoken, and they don't speak. Or I should say, women are seen and not heard. And that's the way it was for so long. But that doesn't mean that's the way she felt. She knew this was wrong because it didn't feel right. We know things are wrong because we're the first ones to know things are not right because we feel it.
Absolutely.
We feel it.
I think that I know that what women want to see from a man is not that we want you to be more manly like. It's just that for me, a man is, if you're going to lead this family, I want you to do what's best for the family,
yes.
But I also want you to consider me, like at least hear me. And so what we want from you as a man is like, I hear you. I understand.
That's it, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And not even to lead this family. If you're going to make a decision, ask me how I feel about it. I acknowledge what I said, you know. Okay, that's how you feel. Okay, well, we're going to you know what I'm saying? It's so many decisions made in this world. And the woman is not equal. And a lot of it has to do with our own bodies. We're not considered for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should not be doing this. How you gonna tell me? Have you ever? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Have you ever?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Presidency. Like, Hillary Clinton ran for office, and I don't think she had, and I'm about to go, like, some of you guys are going to be mad, whatever. I don't think she had half the stuff that Donald Trump did. Half of the stuff that Donald Trump did. He still got elected office. She didn't.
Because the decision was already made. They would rather have this than her.
Than a female in office.
Just because she was female. The decision was already made. Because, you know, in any other time, the things that were, I mean, he was busted. So much stuff or whatever.
On record. It was obviously him.
Yes, on film. You didn't have to go through any research or anything like that. It's him.
It was him. My name is Donald Trump.
And I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing.
Like, if it could have got any clearer.
Right. And had it been Hillary, let alone been another opponent, male or female, it would have been buried. They would have buried it. Had that been Hillary with his accusations, it would have been over. It would have been done for. Or anybody else at any time. 4 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, that's the end.
The end of it.
And it should have been the end. But
long time ago.
But in this society, this is what they would rather have. The decision was already made. No matter what he could have done, anything he said he would have done, they still would have, went the same way.
So with that being said, it being a male dominated world where women aren't even considered, what do you think is the weakness of the male intellect?
The weakness of male intellect.
Should have wrote that down. You said it was peer pressure.
Oh yeah, peer pressure.
That's the only weakness. I think that's the biggest one.
Yeah, it's the biggest. It could be the biggest issue dealing with that or whatever. It's peer pressure.
That and emotional barricades. I think those will go hand in hand.
And again, and maturity.
And third one is immaturity.
Yeah.
We can go for days.
Yeah, that's pretty much the number one problem with why this toxic male thing is its lack of maturity. You know,
let it go. She's still going.
Get out and deal with it. Jeez, be a man. Get out and deal with it.
As a female, of course. She held that darn. Yeah, but immaturity. What do you mean by that? Like, give me a scenario where that's the weakness.
Men need to grow up. That's it.
Period.
Men need to grow up. You know, we're living in a society now where this society accepts males not to grow up, but go on to live in childhoods. And we have males, with the way they are and what we see, these males are living in their second, third, fourth, and fifth childhoods.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. And that's the problem. Yeah, and that's the problem right there. We're not allowing our males to grow up. And that's another big problem.
We're not holding them to a standard.
Right. And when you see these single parenthoods or whatever, you see these males not leaving the nest. And it's like, almost like it's okay. Which I understand. Economics, I understand. But spiritually, eternally, you need to stand up
and be a man. And figure it out.
Right.
Figure it out.
Right. And rather than your mom to pamper you, and she needs to support you to be a man.
Yeah, like I need you. I understand you need help, but I need you to try.
Right, and you will get that support, and not only from her, from other family members. And this is what family and friends should be doing, supporting each other. And that's something we don't do.
I'm going to add this in. Okay. Do you think a woman can raise a man? I threw that in there, y'all. That was left field, but that just brought up. Do you think a woman can raise a man? Because obviously a man needs a male figure, but just like the woman also needs her father to show her what a male is, the man also needs a woman to show them what a male looks or a female looks like. So like,
the answer to that is no.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. But again, I don't think a male can do it himself either. It was meant and intended for both of them.
Two-parent home. You teach my daughter how to. You teach my son how to be a man, and I teach him how to love.
Right. And we should be teaching them that without even teaching them, because we should have the male and female should have respect for each other.
There is no respect.
Right, and that's a big thing. Yeah,
there is no respect
for each other, and guess what? The kids are paying attention to this because the kids are doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, learning from their parents.
And seeing that in the Southern family is so toxic. Because my grandma and grandpa wasn't right. All these secrets. Grandpa got 3 children on the side. Grandma don't act like she don't see them or nothing like that. He always out the house or whatever. And then mom and dad aren't together now. Mom is over here doing God knows. Dad is in jail or whatever have you. Whatever the situation be. The children now got 2 generations that aren't morally, physically, emotionally, logically, and that I grew up in a situation where I knew that these 2 did not want to be together. It's obvious y'all can't stand each other. Why are y'all still together? You know what I'm saying? So
and it also comes again with maturity on both parts. You need to deal with your issues. You need to deal with your problem. Because if not, this is what happens.
Right.
And you're not only hurting yourself, you're hurting others. Because they're dealing with this as well. You're dealing with this. You don't think the kids are dealing with this?
Nah, I don't think they consider children.
No, they don't. No, they don't consider kids, again, like in the dark ages with women. Today, I grew up that way. Children are seen and not heard.
Yeah. Yes. If you think about it, the children, when we eat, you know how like on TVs they have the big long table where everybody's together? No, in Southern families, adults have a table, the children have a table.
Yeah.
The adults are in one room conversating, the children are in another room conversation. Don't be a grown folk business, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And that's just leaving kids out, but more importantly, not teaching them.
Not talking to them.
Right, and not teaching and talking to them the way they should be.
The woman wants a man to hear them, but the woman doesn't hear the children.
Right.
Where's the voice for the child?
Right.
But I digress, And
that matters.
It does matter because it matters to me. Because I grew up in a household where it wasn't right. And I didn't feel like I was heard. Everybody's making decisions for me, and you don't hear what I want. Like, I don't even want neither of this. I don't want to choose between y'all two. And I'm saying, if I had my way, you would go get therapy. You would, I don't know what you need, but you gonna work it out. You know what I'm saying? Send me to my aunt's house or something. This is toxic. I am tired of this. Somebody put me up for adoption. I don't want to be here. You know what I'm saying?
And with all of that, and if you can't see as a human being that how abnormal this is not the way things are supposed to be. And what makes you think there are not going to be consequences that come with this?
There's consequences. They don't see it.
No,
they don't see it. They think that when the child grows up and to start displaying bad disciplinary actions, such as kicked out of school, jail, progressively getting worse and worse. They think tell me if I'm wrong now. The first thing that a Southern person will say is, I don't know where I went wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong now. I don't know where I went wrong. I raised you the best I could.
That's your child.
You are your daddy's child.
Your child, yeah.
But the whole time, the situation was never right to begin with.
Right.
Never right to begin with.
Right. And this is what you get.
Yes.
And you fail to see that.
And
rather than to deal with it a long time ago when you should have, rather than deal with it, you chose to simplify it. Like,
put the blinders on.
Right. And to give a simple answer, like, I don't know who child that is.
Yeah.
Some nonsense.
I didn't raise them like that.
Yeah.
Any way for you to not take responsibilities for your action, that is what you do.
Right.
That person, my child make their own decisions. Well, your child made their decisions because all their life you taught them how to decide.
Yes. Yeah.
You taught them how to decide.
Absolutely, yes.
Because there's always a right or wrong. There's not, I wouldn't say right or wrong. There's always a left and a right. And if they constantly going left and choosing the worst possible case scenario, it's because they're addicted to the toxicity.
Yes.
They're addicted to the drama.
Oh, and they think it's normal.
It's normal.
This is what we're
It's supposed to be like that.
Right.
I'm supposed to be, the male is supposed to be leading the relationship, even though the male has no idea what the hell he's doing. The women is supposed to be in the house, accepting everything that the male does. The child is supposed to be somewhere shutting up. I don't even want to hear how you feel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let the adults figure it. You know what I'm saying?
And how does this look? This is madness.
It looks like we're not
madness.
together as a front. It's a facade. Our house is in disarray.
Yes. What's the term? Dysfunctional?
Dysfunctional?
Yeah, dysfunctional families, yeah.
How do you think it can be solved in this current day and age, just with the mindset, the music? I think music has a lot to do with it too, because it promotes, a lot of kids wants to be like these artists and stuff like that. And then the artist promotes having 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 baby mamas.
And that's a problem. The music is the problem, yeah. Because we don't realize how powerful it is, how powerful media is towards people, especially kids, young kids or whatever. You know, they're impressionable. So if this is what peer pressure is, they're basically telling you, because a lot of times you don't realize it, you know, why you lose your teenagers, because you allow their heroes to start raising them.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Especially this generation.
Yes.
This generation, my generation.
But it was always every generation, but it wasn't as intense.
Well, there was always a distraction in the household. Like this generation now, it's the internet. A lot of parents give them the tools to go out there and see all the dysfunction in the world, rather than show them even in the household there's dysfunction, and I'm gonna show you dysfunction so you get dysfunctional. It's every generation they had one. I think 80s had the drug addiction, crack epidemic.
Yes.
The 90s had the jail epidemic, where everybody was going to jail, and
the 50s had rock and roll. Rock and roll.
What does that mean?
Rock and roll was a threat towards the same thing that we're dealing with, you know, the epidemics in the 80s with the crack or whatever. It was rock and roll.
What did rock and roll do?
The parents were threatened that this was going to ruin their kids.
Yeah.
And it was just the music.
It was just music.
Just the music. Innocent times, but you know, same thing.
It's the same thing today, though. It's like if you don't teach them better, what they know is always going to be better. I'll let you listen to the song as long as you know this. I don't even know if I would let you listen to the song, because
as a parent, you should be monitoring
what they're hearing, at least until a certain age where they have it ingrained in their head, where it's like, I know this is wrong, but the song is catchy as hell. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some songs out there I'd be like, all right, I don't agree with what you're saying, but this beat, I'm saying right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But if you're raising your kids, and you have to start at the beginning, because it makes it much easier for you and better for the child. If you have standards, you know, for your child to follow and live by, which you are the person, you are the standard. Yeah. You have to display this stuff, you know.
So you're saying the male has to display the positive?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yes. The man is definitely if he wants to be the head of that household, there are things you got to do.
The dual head. the dual head. There's two-sided head, a two-sided coin. You know what I'm saying? The man has to respect the woman has to respect the male. The male has to be a male. And I'm not saying gender roles, but the man has to be a man in his own right. Yes. And the woman has to be a woman in his own right. They both have to be secure in the position, and then together they can come together and then raise these children.
Right. But they have to know this before all this happens.
They have to see it. They have to see that, this is what it's supposed to be like. Oh, God, I've been doing this wrong all these years? Right. Wow. Like,
I even question the fact that even if you found out at a good young age, would you want to follow it? Because peer pressure is so strong that, even if they're showing you the right way, and you know it's the right way, but I don't have enough people joining me with this, but there are a lot of people over here, and they're being accepted by society. You know what? I know this is right, but I think I'm going to hang out over here.
I think that that's a test to maturity.
Yeah. Right.
Maturity in both genders, because you have to be mature enough to say, I don't need nobody to follow me.
Right.
Because eventually they're going to follow you.
Yeah, and you need that love and support to give you that confidence.
For yourself.
For yourself, yes.
You need that confidence for yourself to say that I'm okay with being alone over here in this corner. Yes. I'm okay with being with my children. I'm okay with being at home. I'm okay with being present in my child's life. I'm okay with cooking sometimes. I'm okay with, whatever have you. Right. Because I'm still a male. Right. And I'm actually leading my family. I'm actually taking care of my family, not just saying that monetarily gain. I'm there and I'm present. I know my children. I know what they do like. I know what they don't like. I know what they expect of me. I know I know how they feel, everything. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that takes strength.
And it takes strength to be like with your friends, like, I'm not going out there and doing I'm not doing that. Right. I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong. I'm just not going to do it. Eventually you come around. Right. You know what I'm saying? So,
and that's a part of manhood. And I like to say that, manhood, what we were talking about the other day, about the manhood comes in 4 parts. And that's a part of manhood. That's strength.
Yeah.
That's a display of strength, which isn't necessarily physical strength, what most young males would gravitate towards. They think being strong as a man, yes, you need to be strong as a man.
In the gym. They need to be in the gym.
Physical strength. Yeah. No, you need mental strength.
I feel like that's a lot to do with intellect too. Like,
yes.
Stop trying to just scrape the surface. You need to dig deep. Yes. You know what I'm saying?
Strength
is just not.
That's so important. Yes.
Sex is just not the only pleasure. You know what I'm saying? That's what you.
Because what you're dealing with a deep ocean, and you're just dog paddling on the surface.
You're about to drown.
Right. Eventually you're going to drown because you're going to tire yourself out.
So with the new dynamic of the world, coronavirus, this forceful stuff that's going around, all the negativity, media, everything that's going around, how do you see relationships? How do you see relationships adapting?
Well, from what I've seen and what I've experienced, or whatever, I'm not happy with what I've been seeing.
I'm saying in the next 5 years.
The next 5 years?
What do you see the relationship? Let's say in the next generation. What do you see the male and female relationship looking like? Do you think it's going to be better? Because you said you felt like that we were in the Aquarius age, and you feel like women are rising. So maybe in the next generation, women are going to. But then I see that. Just like, with black people, we've been dominated so long. And when we've been oppressed, I'm not going to say dominated because we've been oppressed.
You can't say that.
We've been oppressed for so long that now that we are starting to be recognized and seen, that it's kind of like we're dominating. Because now it's like, you're not gonna oppress me anymore. You get what I'm saying? It's like, you've been fighting me so long that I'm gonna punch you first. Kind of thing. So maybe that in the future you'll see that a woman is more dominant now because the whole life. When do you think that it'll be a front again, like a united front?
When males decide to be men.
When men finally get it, like you see that in the next generation.
Well, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yes. Because these males have to decide to be men.
Yeah.
You don't just become a man. You know, your age does not make you a man. Again, like you're saying, the amount of women you had, the possessions you have, and anything like that, that's not manhood. That is exactly what it is. It's just possessions. That's it. You have to decide to become a man. It's a decision to make. It shouldn't have to be, but now, in the day that we live in now, you have to stand up and decide you want to be a man.
Yeah. You have to say, you have to, but it's hard for men.
It is hard.
It's hard for boys because I don't know which generation it was, but I thought, ooh.
Oh, wow. He hit?
He hit the back of the truck, but the truck got the guard up, so he messed his car up. Anyway. Hold on. But anyway, the truck's still going. I don't think he felt it. Oh, he turned. Okay. Somewhere along the generations, I feel like the definition of a male, the positive male figure that I was saying has been lost, and that was generations ago.
Yes, it was.
So it's going to be hard for boys to say they want to be men because they have no idea what men is. There's nobody really, a real man is hard to find. There's nobody really prominent enough to be like, this is what, Martin Luther King or whoever you want to say is a real man. He was been gone since the 60s.
Yes.
There's nobody to be like, okay, this is
those
standard.
Models.
Yeah.
Those models and those standards are not, we haven't seen them in so long.
In decades, yeah.
But the thing is that we're here, and that's on us.
Yeah. That's
on us. They're here, and the men who are men, who are out there saying, I'm a man, all right, if you are a man, go teach your young brother. Show him how to be a man, because if not, he's going to be... Matter of fact, he can end up dead if you don't.
Did you see that news story where the 18-year-old was getting bullied? The 18-year-old boy was getting bullied, and so at school, so he went and got a gun and came back to the school and shot the school.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut this part out because I already feel like I'm going to go left. But I'm not saying I disagree with what he did, but I'm just saying I understand.
Yeah. Yes.
And that has a testament to say, I don't think he had a role model in his life to tell him, just because what they're saying is what they're saying, and what they're doing is what they're doing. You have consequences to your actions.
Yes.
You go and shoot the school up, you're going to jail, and there's nothing I can do about it, son. Yes. So, I'd rather you fight with your hands and get suspended, because now this is going to be on your record for the rest of your life.
This is life, he's possibly lost his life, his life
18 years old.
It's another life lost, another young life lost.
And I'm not disagreeing with what he did. I'm just saying because I've been bullied. There's been instances I've been terribly bullied, but it's not maturity. Think.
And the thing is also, you can't necessarily put it all on the child.
Yeah.
The child needs that. Should have had that love and support,
so he could be secure.
Right. So he was already secure. No matter what you say to me, my parents have given me the armor.
Yes.
For you and people like you. You cannot pierce this.
You can't break my armor.
Right. You cannot break that armor, because I have the armor of love and support from the time I was born. And the right ways of teaching and doing and being, watching my parents. So there's nothing you can say or do to harm me.
Break me.
Matter of fact, I'm looking at you and seeing you as abnormal. What's wrong with you?
You don't have love.
Right.
Because if you feel the need to put your hands on somebody because of whatever reason.
Right, because you can't deal with your emotions.
You can't deal with your emotions. Yeah. You something about me that's conflicting with your spirit.
Right.
It's so sad, the poor child.
Yes.
And I'm only 24 years old, and I can already see he lost his life. He didn't die, but he lost it.
His life is lost.
He's going to have to fight for decades just to get his rights.
And not only that, he's going to unfortunately conform into something that he probably never had a clue he would be, because inside the system,
he's now a criminal.
Yeah.
He can't carry, he can't vote, he can't protect himself.
Well, let alone if he killed people, he's going to be in for a long time.
And once he gets out, after the initial sentence, if he gets out.
If he gets out, yeah.
You're now a convicted felon. You can't carry. You have no vote in the legal system.
Yeah, in this society, you really have no rights.
Jails are going to look at you differently. I mean, not jails, jobs are going to look at you differently. You're not going to be considered for some of the roles. You can't go to, you lost your college time. The time you was in jail is the time you should have been to college. So there goes parts of your education. Yeah. There goes years of your life that you would have been spent building a career or a life for yourself. Right.
It's lost. As I said, a life lost. And that transition coming out of there, from that, because again, as I said, he's going to have to conform to that lifestyle inside. And that lifestyle is not going to work here outside. As a matter of fact, it's coming out from that transition, coming from inside, outside, could be traumatizing. And really, that person really should be on suicide watch.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them don't transition well. If they transition at all.
It's like, what's the point? However many years he's going to have to be in jail. By the time he gets out, everything's going to be different.
Going to be,
Families is going to be, like, some family members, he done lost so much time, he can't get back. Like, so I remember the Exonerated Five. The 5 boys from New York.
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember that.
I think his name is Corey. I was just listening to Kevin Hart's podcast last night. Corey got out of jail. By the time he got out of jail, he did like 12, 13 years. By the time he got out of jail, his mother had died. Yeah. It's so much.
Yeah, life moves on without you.
Oh man, I'm praying for him.
There was no one there to comfort him while he was dealing with that. At the time, his mom passing. And he had to deal with it.
Not being able to hug her the last time.
Right. Or hug his family member.
Yeah.
Because once she steps out, out of the picture, they're now his parents, his family. And he didn't have that. So he had to survive the best way he knew how. And guess what? He's going to be dealing with that for the rest of his life.
Traumatized.
If I'm not sure, I think I remember the kid exactly who you're talking about. There was one of them who really did not transition well through this. Even though he got out, he still had problems.
I think it was the one that I'm talking about is Corey. So what happened was they were 14 years old.
Yeah, I remember this.
They did the interview and they was trying to convince them to say that they did it.
That was him. Did you see the expression on the face? They were taking advantage of a child.
A child. 14 years old.
This is a child. No matter what you might think of him, this is a child. And if you didn't know that, watch that interview.
You can influence a child more than you can influence an adult. If you would have said to me, you have to admit that you're guilty even though you didn't do it in order to let you out of jail. I ain't admitting this shit. Because I'd rather fight for my innocence than to say I'm guilty. Right. Because once I say I'm guilty, I'm guilty.
Right.
I'm a rapist. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, oh man, that was heartening. That
was heartening. He's
men are our men. Yes. I'm a female, so I'm gonna say my child, my husband, my brother, whoever lost his life and he didn't even die. I would have taken you, shoot me. That's it. Take me. Like, let me start over. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because at that point, I am no longer an innocent human being. No matter what I do, I'm always I can't be around children. I can't have my own children. I get with a woman, and I tell her what's going on.
She's not going to understand.
She's not going to understand. If she does, she's always going to be looking over her shoulder. Yeah,
the thing is that there is a way back. There is a way back for him, with all that. He can still have all of that, but it's not going to be the same transition as it would be for you and I. because of his experience, what he had to. Someone's, or people, all of us, are going to have to be so much understanding.
Oh my gosh, I hate these cars. It's tripping me out, bruh. No! If this shit...
Don't tell me you didn't record.
I don't know how much it recorded.
You want to cut it short?
It looked like it did.
Are you kidding me?
I'm trying to see how long it is. Because I can edit it. If I see how long it is, I can pick it up. But hopefully it was like the last 5 minutes. Don't conspire.
I was looking at the time. Timing was well.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, you're right. It was recording. And even if it did, it's still on this. So
Yeah.
I seen it was recording. I don't know what happened. No, I was like, my heart is hurt. Oh yeah, it's 2 hours. Oh wait, that's 2 hours ago.
2 hours what?
That was 2 hours ago. It's still loading.
This is the audio.
Yeah, but I got it right here too.
Yeah, okay.
I can pull it from that. I can. I just rather not because that's a lot of work. Alright, so we're just gonna pick back up and I'll just pull it from there.
Oh shit. Thank you, man. Oh shit. How did it get under the table leg?
Man, it's processed. Shit, I'm pissed off. I'll just pull it from there. Man.
So
it wasn't recording, but I can pull it from there because it's audio and video.
Okay.
But don't worry about it. I got you. It'll be live on Monday. You'll see what I did.
Okay, so we're good now.
Mm-hmm. It's record. This means it's recording.
Yeah, that's why I was watching the time. The time was going.
It was?
It was moving, yes.
Okay.
I was every time you would check it or whatever, I was able to see the time as it's going.
Yeah.
And I'm like, 55 minutes. I said, wow, a lot of footage.
Oh, I think it stopped at the hour. So we might be good. Anyway. All right. So we're getting the last few questions. Is it okay to be a family father? Like a father that's at home and
not only is it okay,
it's recommended.
It's necessary.
It's very necessary.
It's necessary. There's no other way. We shouldn't even be thinking like that, otherwise. It is absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary. Because if not, you won't succeed. You're not going to succeed at this. No matter what you think it looks like or how it sounds like, or if it's good enough for you, no. It's necessary.
The children need it more than anything.
Yes, the children need it more than anything, but guess what? As parents, we benefit from it as well.
Yeah.
Because we get a chance to watch our children grow and become successful. Well, if they're going to become successful, but the whole thing is that, we get a chance to watch them grow positively.
It's a lot harder to become successful if you're not secure in yourself.
Yes.
And I'm struggling with it.
Yes, and again, all this starts with the father in the home. Meeting the father in the home along with both parents. Because this is where we get our strength from.
Yeah.
Who we end up becoming, who we should be. It comes from our parents, shaping and forming us. Not necessarily shaping and forming us, by touching, by hand, but being in the household and dealing with everyday things, and that's going to mold us and grow us. It's just like watching a lion grow from a cub to a lion. And what he's doing to get to be there, they play. It looks like the play that the cub, that all the young lions are doing, the cubs are doing, but they're actually practicing how to kill. And this is necessary for them in their lives to survive. And in the same way, we should be watching our parents and as us, as children, dealing with other children, helping each other grow along the way, building up our confidence.
And I'm going to add to this because this works my last damn nerves. when a child becomes an adult, when you have to understand what your definition of an adult is. For whatever your definition of adult is, that's what you have to stick to. If your definition of an adult is out on your own, if they're out on their own or they're paying their own rent and everything they own is theirs and they're paying their phone bill and their car insurance, everything they're paying by themselves, they're working a job or whatever have you, and they're taking care of themselves, if that's your definition of an adult, that's an adult. The child is no longer a child. That means that you have to respect them as an adult.
Oh, absolutely.
My parents have an issue with this. Who is this calling? I'm coming. My parents have an issue with this. And I have a stigma now where if somebody calls me a child, I get mad. I'm not a child. I am not a child. I'm a grown-ass adult. So if you're going to you have to let go of that my baby mentality.
Again, you have to allow your child to grow.
You have to allow your child to grow. Yeah. And stop trying to hold on and be a baby.
Right. This is what I was saying, the same thing, a lot of single parents who have male children pacify them rather than allow them to go.
Oh, yes.
This is what I was meaning back when I said that earlier.
I think it's when women have to raise the child, the boy, they understand that they're subconsciously they understand that there's something that is missing, so they're going to overcompensate, and when they overcompensate, it comes off as pacifying. But by you pacifying, it's making the situation worse because they need to understand what they're doing is wrong.
Yes.
They need to understand that they are wrong.
Not only making it wrong, you're weakening it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I've come across and what I've seen is that it also could be personal. Women who are raising these young males or whatever, they don't want to see them go because now they see themselves as alone.
Oh yeah.
That's the problem.
I think that was any child because my mom, I don't know why I throw my mom under the bus, but she getting under there. My mom, she never said it, but I'm good with picking up emotions and how, tone of voice. It's like, you don't want me to leave. You're just not going to say anything, but I'm definitely leaving. And she asked me every chance you get, when are you coming back home? And she'll ask me like, she'll tell me, she's like, you're not a male. You can't do things that males can do. You need to be somewhere safe. I get that. But part of being an adult is finding my own way. I have to find my own way. So that means that sometimes I'm asked out. I have to be asked out. You have to do wrong to know what's right.
To know what's right. Yeah, you're absolutely right with that. Yes.
But we're gonna go ahead and the last thing we want to talk about, and then we're gonna end this conversation. It was a great conversation with you, man. There's a book that you wanted to talk about. 4 things that women want from a man, which I think, we had this conversation before. I think it's titled wrong, but it's a good book.
Yes, it's a very, very good book. Excellent book.
Well, who is it by?
It's by
we'll see it.
My pastor, A.R. Bernard, my pastor. Pastor A.R. Bernard, 4 things women want from a man.
I just think it's weird that a man is telling other men what women want instead of women telling a man what they want. And maybe he should say that 4 things men need to do for a woman so that it'll addressed towards the men from a man instead of addressed as a woman from a man, because it's like really weird. But proceed.
This is why we need to read the book. So we can have a later conversation. It's just the cover. As I said before, we had this conversation.
Right.
It's just the cover or whatever to get your attention. Because if it was the way you wanted to, it's a very good chance you'll keep walking right past this book.
God, I take offense. Well, I wouldn't take offense to it, but it's kind of like, wow, how could you? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you talk for me? I got it. Thank you.
Well, don't be offended.
I'm not offended. I'm just being.
Don't be offended.
I'm just
because
joking.
It wasn't meant to be offended.
I'm just joking, y'all.
I got you.
It's me and Dexter understands my you guys will probably understand my personality the more I do this, but Dexter understands. He don't take nothing I say serious. So
good person, intelligent person, interesting person.
Just play too much. That's all.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. This is another issue I try to talk about youth. The difference between youth and acting young.
Yeah.
It's a fine line between that.
Elaborate, because I'm a little confused.
Well, there's nothing wrong. You know, most people, as we get older...
You can put it down now. You can put it right there. Like right here if you want to talk about it.
Well, it's not in the book.
Okay.
This is something experience, you know, I've gone through, whatever, you know. People, as we get older, whatever, you know, there's so many people who go through a crisis or midlife crisis, as it's said, and everything like that or whatever, and they go out and do ridiculous things, you know, and sometimes hurting themselves or their families. And I understand where they're getting at or whatever, you know, you're missing your youth.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with being youthful. But I'm talking about the ridiculous things you do to act young.
Midlife crisis type stuff?
Midlife crisis type stuff or whatever.
Nick Cannon's in the middle of making. Yeah. I don't know what he got going on.
Look, if you're 50 years old, you should not be wearing your hat backwards.
Pants sagging.
You should not be sagging. And I understand you're trying to, you know, capture your youth or anything like that, but you know he's going about it. I think he's going about it wrong because this is ridiculous now.
What is the stigma behind getting old? I don't get it. To me,
again, insecurities. You don't understand what's coming. You don't understand what this is about or whatever, and also realization.
You old?
No, not just you're
Death
old or
is
whatever.
near.
Yeah, you're getting older, and you're still here.
Mm-mm.
That's the scary thing for some people.
Man, they fight it. They think it's surgery and all that.
Yeah, they fight. That's what I'm talking about. You know, see where this thing, you know, being youthful or wanting to retain youth, go left and go wrong and do things to hurt yourself and to hurt others.
Come out looking completely weird. So many surgeries.
Look,
you were better off.
Yes,
you're better off not getting it.
You can tell that you've been, you know, in surgery. It's probably not looking good. Simple as that.
If you look, some people be smiling, they'd be like this.
Yeah, it goes no further than that. No. Are
you okay, sir?
You want to grow old gracefully.
Yeah.
That's what you want. And you want to retain your youth. You want to be youthful as you're growing older.
Yeah.
And some people don't understand that. And they just take it as, you know, well, if I act like a 16-year-old, now I'm young again. I got my youth back. No. You understand where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
No, that's not the way, whatever. You're
old as shit.
Yeah.
You're still old. You're still old and you look, but you just look stupid now.
Right. You look stupid. You look stupid now. That's why I said, no, I was trying to be nice by saying it's ridiculous.
Nah, just rip the Band-Aid off.
Yes.
You look like an idiot.
Yes, you look stupid now. You know, don't do that. Because now you don't even realize it, but you know, you're losing a lot of respect for yourself. Because a lot of younger people are looking at you, they can see right through it. And they're like, dude, what are you doing?
What are you doing with no hair but a hat on? And why is your beard gray but your pants is all the way to your ankles?
Yes.
And why are you talking like that? Because it just sounds so forced.
Right. And you should not be sharing a closet with your 14-year-old son.
You shouldn't be sharing a closet with your 14-year-old son. You shouldn't be, like, pushing 80 and still in the club.
Yeah.
Like, what is your problem, sir?
Yeah.
Go home.
Yeah.
You know you got to go to the bathroom every 5 minutes.
And then there's people like you who reminded me. And that's threatening.
That's why I don't go to the club. Whereas I'll be like, club is amusing to me. I think it's so hilarious. It's like, look what you're doing to get attention.
Yeah. And again, you can go to the club. Like, I don't do that or whatever, you know. But if I were to go to the club or whatever, and I can go to the club or whatever, I'm just there for, you know.
I don't even go.
You know, just for the view, pretty much. I want to see what's going on and how it's going on or whatever. But
I don't go. It's disgusting to me.
Exactly.
It's disgusting.
But if you go there for what you're going there for, a lot of times I go there just to have, you know, a drink.
Fun, yeah.
You have a little fun. Matter of fact, not by myself, but, you know, you go with a group of friends and you do that.
But you can't even do that these days. It's
no, certain clubs you cannot.
You cannot. You got to be out by a certain time. Look, the moment somebody start messing with their pants waist, get out of there. Yeah. Get out of there.
Yeah.
Go.
And also, you should know this club you're going inside.
I need to have lights on in the club. There should be club lights.
Yeah, like, you should know the
not
club.
The strobe lights, but the lights. So I need to be aware of all time.
That's just the time it's time to go.
Yeah.
You need those lights.
Yeah.
But that's not fun.
Back to the book. This happens all the time when we talk. Back to the book. What were we talking about? We're going left. What did you want to say about the book?
No, if you get a chance or whatever, pick up. This is a good book to pick up and read for life. This is a book for life. This is not something you just read and put on your shelf. You return to this time and time in life or whatever. And it's a book on life. It's not necessarily about the title. It can definitely help with the title, but it can also help with your life and all situations, relationships thereof.
Why did you put the title in there?
The title.
You said not just the title, but the book.
Well, no. Most people think it's a book about men and women. No, it's not.
That's what I'm saying. It's misleading. That's what I was saying. It's misleading.
Well, again, when you read the book, you realize that it's not. This is a tool for life.
Yeah.
That's what it basically is. A tool on life.
Maybe that should be the name. Tool for life.
Yeah, and this.
Let me stop trying to change this man's book.
No, this is the type.
Don't find this man's book.
And you're absolutely right, but he wants you to discover this.
Oh yeah.
Rather than just tell you and give it to you again like you. He's not going to leave it for you on the surface. He wants you to dig for it.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's there.
Yeah.
But you're an intelligent person. You already saw through that or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's good to discover things rather than not always, consistently giving something because you won't understand.
That's beautiful, man. So we're going to end this conversation. We've been here for 3 hours. I got to go somewhere. It's at 4 that I'm supposed to be. I got to go by the bank. I got to go somewhere. I shouldn't be telling y'all this. My name is Tamari Mays. This is my podcast, Sincerely Yours. Dexter, go ahead and give them your information. If you have any social medias that you want them to follow you on.
No, I don't do social media.
Because he's old as shit.
No, it's not that or whatever. I'd rather do this. What we just did, this is what I'd rather do. This is what I'd rather do. I'd rather face look.
Y'all don't be offended by it. He's not offended. He knows I'm joking with him.
No, this doesn't. I have that armor. You're not gonna pierce this. I know because I already know who I am.
He knows who I am too. I just play too much. I be playing too much. It be getting me in trouble. Yeah. It does. It gets me into trouble all the time.
Yeah, it gets you in trouble because you
don't have a filter.
You have a strength to pierce the heart.
You saying I cut a dude down if he wasn't ready?
Yeah, man. I mean, you have the strength to pierce the heart. I mean, the hardest of the hard rock. I can see walking home, head in the chest, thinking about just not getting sleep. Did she actually say that?
I'm sorry if I ever almost offended you.
No. You didn't offend me or whatever, anything like that. But I can see it offending other people.
I know. I be trying to, I legit.
And I would tell
playing with people.
Yeah, you be playing with me, and I tell you, no, don't let up. This is who you are.
It is who I am, but sometimes I feel like I'm playing. Anyway, y'all, this conversation can go on for 3, 4, 5 hours. This is Sincerely Yours podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. What you think about all these questions, you can answer them in the comment section or anything you want to talk about. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dogwood Entertainment. Subscribe to my podcast, Sincerely Yours by Tamari Mays on all platforms. Leave a like, comment. Okay, I've been doing this too long. Bye.